Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into SEFQ Arena on the campus of Illinois State University. It's a rematch between the Peoria Notre Dame Irish and the Nashville Hornets with a Class 2A state championship on the line. Good afternoon, I'm Dalton Carmine, joined in the booth by Michael Savoy. And Michael, this is it. This is the peak of girls basketball in Illinois. Both these teams have earned their spots just like they did a year ago. What an environment and what a game we have in store.
This is going to be a great matchup, just like how it was last year. Both these teams playing the state championship game last year. It was a really good game last year, too. It came down to the final shot by Emmy Worrell to win Peoria Notre Dame its state championship over these same Nashville Hornets. And this game is going to be a doozy, just like how it was last year.
Absolutely. Both teams, Peoria Notre Dame looking a little bit different than they did last year. Of course, Maya Wardle was at the helm of the program last year. She now playing for the Colonels of Eastern Kentucky. But a lot of returners on PND and even more returners on Nashville. They only lost 2 seniors last year. And let's touch on the Hornets real quick. Just length, size, skill. No weak links on this Hornets team.
Yeah, they've played a very tough schedule down in their part of the state. They're more on the southern side of the state. They're right by the Metro East area. They're more east of the Metro East area. Kind of in between Mount Vernon and that area. So they play some of the tough teams down there. They played O'Fallon twice. They split the series against O'Fallon. That's a 4A school, a very talented 4A school down there. Bree Central, they lost to Bree Central. Bree Central is another really good 2A school that was ranked in the top 10 all season long. They're the AP polls, Breeze Modern Day, and Live for Life Academy in Missouri. They're a really good girls basketball team down in that state. So they had a very tough schedule, and like you said, Dalton, they are very skilled in all facets of the game, both physically and just everything that you can't really teach. Absolutely,
and head coach Dempsey Whitty is at the helm of the Hornets program. He's just in his second season, but Michael, a record of 65-7. That's right, 65-7 in both of his years leading this Hornets squad. And as you said, I always really enjoy when these smaller schools schedule tougher opponents in the non-conference schedule because it prepares them for this. They know that at the end of the year, they want to be right here, SEFQ Arena, playing for a state title. So having a head coach that has the wherewithal that Coach Whitty has, what does that do for a program?
Yeah, the head coach, it's one thing for a head coach to obviously teach your kids, the style of basketball you want to play and the way you want to play. But it's another thing for your coach to say, okay, we're a small school. We have these big schools we can play. We need to see what we're made of. And that's why they play these big schools, to see what they're exactly made of. It doesn't always have to be a success against these big schools. Obviously, they didn't have success all the time against the teams like O'Fallon and Bree Central. But, it teaches them that, we're not perfect. We need to get better. And obviously, they got better. They're here for a reason.
Absolutely. Only 3 losses, and I think those are losses that you can take away some learning points from. And it culminates in them getting right back here where they wanted to be, where they knew they could return to it. And let's talk PND. Of course, Coach Lane Langholf, his 8th season, he's got a combined record of 168-70, and PND has just taken their schedule beat down after beat down after beat down. And in these playoffs, they've outscored their opponents 378-211. What an electric offense the Irish have.
Yeah, and you think about last year's team, you lose seniors like Maya Worrell, like you said, Dalton, she's playing college basketball at Eastern Kentucky. They lose quite a bit. You think, okay, this PND team, they're going to be good, but they're going to be losing a lot. So, there might be some question marks. And there were question marks at the beginning of the year. They didn't play better defensively until around Christmas. So there were question marks, but they solved them. They're still a very strong Notre Dame team, and they're here for a reason as well. They're going to be a really good challenge for this Nashville Hornets team.
To the tune of a 33-4 record, and yeah, there were questions, and the team struggled defensively, as you said there, Michael, before Christmas, but Coach Langhoff really figured it out quick, with Caitlin Cassidy, was going to start, blew her ACL in volleyball season. Maya Wardle, of course, going on to the college ranks. There were some questions. Who is going to step up? But plenty of girls for the Lady Irish have done just that, and they have ended up right where they want to be here at SEFQ Arena playing for a state title. As the clock winding down, we will step aside just for a moment for a few words from our PA announcer and our national anthem. Back here on Clutch Sports Media, and let's run through some lineups real quick while we got a moment here, Michael. At first, for Peoria Notre Dame, like I said, no weak links. So they're going to start off with Julia Mingus. She just stands at 5'6", and she's a scrappy senior guard and started last year, runs cross country, really has started lighting up the scoring sheet now that she has the ball more in her hands. And Allie Stickelmeyer, the 6-foot senior, she's a Drake soccer commit and wears number 12. Number 22, the superstar do-it-all guard, Emmy Wardle. She's a sophomore, and as you said, hit that game winner in the state championship just a year ago against these Nashville Hornets. What does she have in store here in game number 2? Lexi Bear, she stands at 6'2", but her game is beyond the perimeter. A gunslinger, a sharpshooter, 18 points her last game, including 4 threes for number 24, Lexi Bear. And rounding it out, Cora Hines, the big, lanky, 6'1" sophomore, averaging 9.7 per game. You know, they don't draw anything up for Hines. She just seems to find herself in the right place at the right time. And the Nashville Hornets will counter with number 1. That's Samantha Brinkman, one of the Brinkman twins. She's 6 feet tall, a sophomore. She went 2 for 2 from beyond the arc last game in the semifinals against Chicago Phillips. Number 4, Avery Reeder. Her dad is the boys basketball coach at Nashville. Her second year in the starting lineup, only averages 5.2, but the 5'9" guard is very important for Coach Whitty's squad. Number 5, the other half of the Brinkman twins, that is Summer Brinkman. She scores just a little bit more than her sister. She is a sophomore and a lights-out three-point shooter, was just honored. An IBCA first-teamer was just honored at halftime of the Class 1A state championship game, and she scored 18 points last game versus Phillips. Another sophomore, that's Michaela Gajewski, 5'10", as she'll play in the paint, mostly at center, a state title shot put winner. So she's got size, strength, and the ability to get it done down low on the block. And rounding it out, last but not least, Emma Bierman, a 5'10" forward. She's a junior, and she is the leading rebounder on this squad by a wide margin and averages 13.3 points per game. And like I said at the top of the broadcast, Michael, what a matchup. What do you got your eye on? What sticks out to you?
Well, it's hard to, think that one team has the better of the other in terms of, what they have to come into this game with. Both teams are very well rounded. They have scoring ability, they have size, they have rebounding ability. There's really just 2 great teams. So one thing I have my eye on for Notre Dame, they seem to, get in some of these games, they have some slow starts to begin the game. They don't really sometimes get going until the second half. But if Notre Dame can get going really early on, I'm looking at like Lexi Bear, for example, hitting her three-pointer. She's a great sharpshooter, like you said, Dalton. She's been doing it since she's been in high school, both at Richwoods and Notre Dame. If she's able to catch fire early, it's going to be good for this Notre Dame team. Yeah,
and both of these teams in the semifinals, Michael, just blowout victories over the opposition. PND blowing out Mount Carmel, and Nashville blowing out Chicago Phillips. I believe it was at least 20-point victories for both of the squads. So, and these teams, we've touched on it a little bit, but they've been ranked in the top 3 in Class 2A all season long. So if you don't think these 2 teams belong here, you are dead wrong.
Yeah, both these teams deserve it, and you got to think that Nashville is hungry to get some revenge over Notre Dame. Like we said in the top of the broadcast, they had lost in a heartbreaker to the Fighting Irish. 46-48. It was an Emmy Wardle buzzer beater floater that won PND a state championship. You got to think that this Nashville Hornets team had that on the top of their mind since October hit until now. They have an opportunity to get revenge over this Irish team.
Absolutely, partner. These Hornets absolutely remember it. Coach Whitty remembers it. The Brinkman twins remember it. They all remember what that felt like, and that bus ride back to Nashville couldn't have been fun, and they want to have a much happier bus ride and one with a state trophy, perhaps. Both teams break huddles. We are ready to go as the referees head to the scorer's table just for a moment. What an environment. I mean, incredible traveling ability by the Nashville squad. I want to give them all the credit in the world. This is not a short drive for them, and they have showed out red and blue everywhere right behind us, Mike.
Yeah, it's quite a feeling. The whole town of Nashville made the trip. It got to be around 3,000 people. All 3,000 showed up.
The Class 2A state championship is underway, and a rematch between the Irish and the Hornets, and the Irish control the tip. Stickelmeyer will find Wardle at the top of the key. Wardle being guarded tightly by Bierman, kicks cross court to Mingus. Mingus into the corner, that's Wardle. Wardle gives to Lexi Bear. Lexi Bear with Summer Brinkman on her. They're being aggressive. Now gives to Mingus, who looks to drive hard right. Now hands off to the wing to Stickelmeyer. Really solid man-to-man defense so far by the Hornets. Step back kick to the corner. Mingus with Samantha Brinkman on her. Mingus drives baseline. She stepped on the baseline. Turnover Irish. What a start for the Hornets defense.
Yeah, great way to send the tone for Nashville, playing that really aggressive man-to-man defense. Now PND is going to counter with the man-to-man press, full court.
Yeah, this is what Coach Langhoff loves to do. Keep up the pressure. They're not scared of anything. Samantha Brinkman will bring the ball up, the sophomore. And she will kick to Avery Reeder. Avery Reeder, beautiful spin move, goes up with the left hand and finishes. The Hornets are on the board first with Avery Reeder. And a foul off ball.
Oh, I believe they're going to call it an and one.
Indeed they are. That was a very delayed call, but Reeder draws the contact. So an and one, she got a chance to put Nashville up 3-0 here at the start of our game, and she does just that. An and one, and the Hornets are up 3 with 7 minutes to go in our first quarter. PND looking to respond. Wardle directing traffic, kicks to the corner. A long three off the front iron from Lexi Bear, and the rebound hauled down by Reeder. Reeder says, I'm going to bring this ball up. Surveying her options, a nice lob pass into the paint. Bierman puts it up, it won't go. And Cora Hines, the sophomore, with the rebound, and she is held. So a transition foul, and the Irish retain possession.
Well, we already see early on what Nashville wants to do. They want to push the ball in transition. They don't want to have PND set their defense. They want to get their buckets inside, and Emma Bierman is going to be a key factor in that. She's been one of the main point scorers for this Hornets team.
Don't think it's a bad strategy at all. So the Irish bring the ball up, looking to get on the board. 6.5 to go in our first quarter. Top of the key. And there is Emmy Wardle, once again directing traffic, being guarded tightly by Summer Brinkman. She's going to give to Mingus. Samantha Brinkman on her. Mingus drives hard right again, now into the post. A nice jump hook is good from Cora Hines. She is on the board first for the Irish.
Good look inside for Hines, and a good way for PND to get into the scoring column. Now they can relax, and we can play some basketball.
Indeed, kind of get the monkey off your back in a way, as Bierman will drive hard to the paint. Kick out to the wing, Samantha Brinkman. Being guarded tightly by Wardle, kicks out to her sister, Summer. Summer drives hard on Mingus, 5-on-5 action. Kicks to the corner, Bierman thought about going baseline, nothing doing there. Great defense from Lexi Bear. Here is Reeder, who's gonna go that left hand again, and she is swatted out of bounds. Fantastic block by Stickelmeyer.
Well, we see what Reeder's trying to do. She's done it 3 times. She's trying to attack the inside, and PND's now trying to caught up to it. And now Nashville's got a counter on the inbound.
Nice lob inside on the inbound. Spin move, putting it up is Samantha Brinkman. Got fouled, couldn't get it to go, but she'll go to the charity stripe for 2.
Both teams are just trying to figure themselves out, trying to get a feel for the atmosphere. Both those student sections are full. Fan contingent is massive. The lower bowl is almost all filled out. And this game is already starting to feel like it's a little bit of a doozy.
Indeed it is, and that is 2 early fouls on Stickelmeyer, so she will have a seat. And Aiden Maloney, the 6'1 junior, will check in, and perhaps the storyline if Stickelmeyer's got to sit the rest of this quarter, but one of 2 free throws is good from Brinkman, and it's a 4-2 advantage, and they're only going for Nashville. 5.5 to go in our first quarter. Wardle thought about driving left, now surveying her options and gives to Maloney. Maloney sets a screen for Mingus. Nice spin move, top of the key, just nothing doing. That length and size of Nashville really causing PND's offense issues. Mingus being guarded tightly by Reeder. She puts it up, and there's going to be a foul on the floor before Mingus got it up to the rim.
Yeah, good man-to-man defense from Nashville just in the final moments of that possession. End up committing a foul, and they're going to call it on the floor.
Indeed they are. Couple fouls here in the early going. Inbound to Cora Hines. Lexi Bear, got to get her going. And here's Wardle in the paint, 2 feet in the paint. Kicks out to Lexi Bear. Nice crossover on Bierman. Lexi Bear now kicks to Wardle. Wardle thought about a 3, now goes left. Lays it up, missed everything in the rebound. Summer Brinkman pushing ahead. Not wasting any time. Now inside, down to the corner, Bierman. Has Michaela Gajewski in the paint, but elects to kick it out to the top of the key to Brinkman. Summer Brinkman into Gajewski. Now we'll find Bierman. Summer Brinkman again. Top of the key, Samantha Brinkman launches a three and she rattles it home. The first three-pointer of the game belongs to Samantha Brinkman and the Nashville Hornets. PND the other way, not wasting any time. Bear, a wild hook shot is gonna go. Very tough shot, but Lexi Bear is on the board with her first two, and it's 7-4 Hornets.
And PND responds the other way after a good offensive possession from Nashville. Both teams playing man-to-man defense. You don't see that often in the small school level. Both teams think they match well with each other.
There's nothing else you don't see at the small school level, Mike. As here's a three from Reeder. She was wide open. It won't go. Rebound Irish, but something else you don't see. Both of these teams are only going to go about 7 deep. You're not going to see much bench movement. So, and most of the time, state title teams have 4 or 5 people you can go to off the bench, but not these teams. They are content with what they have, and why wouldn't they be?
That's why that foul trouble for PND early is such a big deal. There's a nice foul there.
And Emma Bierman at the guilty party. It was Lexi Bear putting the moves on her, and she got hacked on the arm. So Lexi Bear will head to the line, a chance to put PND down by 1 with 3 minutes and 46 seconds in our first quarter. Very electric start, and they're just going to call that the TV timeout. So they will take a timeout, and so will we. Be back in just a moment on Clutch Sports Media.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the IHSA, are the 333,000 high school sports and performing arts students in Illinois. And so, we stand. We stand for the runners, debate team members, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, officials, and adjudicators. We stand for the drummers, football players, and actors. We stand for the golfers, singers, and swimmers. We stand as the national leader and advocate for these essential activities and all who participate in them and make them possible, because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
Back here at 3:46 to go in our first quarter at the first TV timeout. It's Nashville 7 and PND 4. We'd like to thank our sponsor for today's game, Torque Fitness in East Peoria. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Torque Fitness in East Peoria. To elevate your performance to an all-state level, train with Torque. To schedule an assessment or for more info, call 217-855-0508. This Nashville squad, they have been hungry to get back here, of course, since last year, but I mean, they do have a state title. 2013, they won the state championships, beating my alma mater of all teams, St. Thomas More, in a convincing victory there. But I mean, that was unbelievable. That was 12 years ago that they were hoisting that state trophy, and they've been one of the premier programs ever since then. Just haven't gotten to the top of the girls basketball world. Because Lexi Bear from the free throw line is good, nothing but net on her first attempt. PND trails 2.
Yeah, Nashville is a great athletic school. Their football team is usually very good, if not the cream of the crop in their class.
Softball's had tons of success, pardon me. Second free throw is good, but I mean, you get these small schools, just 1A, 2A schools, and we went to small schools ourselves, Mike. Everybody plays every sport, so it's not shocking when you have one good sports team, and that translates to another.
Yeah, a lot of great athletes. You have to be a multi-sport athlete, it feels like, to be in a really small school.
Yeah, it seems like you don't have a choice. And a three from Brinkman is no good. Long rebound controlled by Cora Hines, but it goes out of bounds. Doesn't matter. It'll be Irish basketball anyway. So good defense there from the Irish, and they have a chance to take their first lead.
Yeah, both teams, I mean, it's hard to find something they're doing wrong on the defensive end. They're both playing man-to-man defense. They're both playing very aggressive. And it's just hard to find a weakness so far.
Right, there's just no holes, and screens really aren't working. Really haven't forced the ball inside. Just good offense, but better defense from both sides here thus far. Here's Mingus barking out some orders, gets a screen from Wardle. Now Wardle will take it on the pick and pop. Nice switch. She's got Bierman on her now. Wardle kicks to the corner. Mingus, corner three. She got it. Nothing but net. Beautiful connection from Wardle to Mingus for 3.
First of the game for Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's got to get them going from beyond the arc. When they are firing from beyond the arc, they are unstoppable. And Mingus has been doing tons and tons of scoring as of late. That one good, and a miss on the other end for the Hornets. A fight for the rebound will be called a jump ball, and it will stay with Nashville.
That was an awkward situation. Cora Hines pretty much almost got body slammed on that rebound, but.
And Claire Stegman, the 6-foot sophomore, will check in for the Hornets. She had 11 points off the bench last game versus Phillips. She is always the first one off the bench for Coach Whitty's squad. Inbound pass will go to Bierman at the top of the key. She's got Maloney on her. And Summer Brinkman. Maloney switches on to her. Now to the corner. Bierman drives hard right on the baseline. Thought about going up. Now she does. It's short. Gets her own rebound. Forces it back up. That one also short. Gets her own rebound again. Third time is the charm. Bierman for 2. And we're knotted up at 9.
Yeah, not a great boxing out opportunity there for Notre Dame. 2 offensive rebounds for Bierman, and she makes her pay on the 3rd shot.
And Wardle can't make that pay on the other end. Had an open look, but missed everything. The Irish do pull down the offensive rebound as the clock hits 2 minutes. Here's Lexi Bear. Tried to go to Mingus, who was stolen away by Sam Brinkman. Looks up ahead to her sister Summer. Beautiful Euro step. Puts it up and was hacked on the arm by Wardle.
Yeah, Nashville, like we said on the top of the broadcast, they understand that obviously a state championship game, there's already so much on the line, but they want revenge, and you got to think that if you're PND, you knew that Nashville was going to come out and play their hearts out. And this game has been everything that's expected to be. I was going to say it was a tied ball game, but there was a free throw made there.
Indeed. Summer Brinkman makes her free throw for her first point of the game as sophomore Michaela Gajewski checks us back into the game for Nashville. And free throw number 2 from Summer Brinkman, just as good as the first. So she's got 2, and Nashville is up to 11-9. Minute and 50 to go in our first quarter. PND content with taking it slow. Lots of off-ball movement. That's how PND is going to get you. Here's Mingus, but just hounding aggressive defense from the Hornets. Mingus will go to Maloney, who now finds Wardle at the top of the key. Off-ball screens, backdoor cuts. Nashville's having none of it. Gajewski switches on to Wardle. Now Mingus into the lane. Spin move on Brinkman. Got her to bite on the fake, but it's swatted away by Brinkman. Mingus gets it back, goes up, and is fouled by Stegman. Man, I don't know about that one, Michael. Looked like that one got a chunk of the ball as Mingus chased down her own miss, or the ball that she got blocked, put it back up. I didn't have the best angle at it, but the Nashville faithful not content with that call.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you think about, the fact that we're playing in a state championship game, and I'm not saying that wasn't a foul, but from our angle and from the time it was committed, you think that it was a clean block. But obviously it wasn't a clean block in the officials' view, and Mingus hits her free throws. Yeah,
Mingus has 5 to lead the Irish, and we are knotted up at 11. The full court pressure picking up again for PND. Sam Brinkman brings it up, now gives to Emma Bierman. The 5'10 junior drives hard right. She gets all the way to the rack, missed the layup. The ball tapped around and eventually grabbed by Lexi Bear, who finds Wardle. Will Wardle push the pace? Yes, she will. Had a step on Bierman. Now she slows it down. Lexi Bear thought about a 3.
And she really wanted that 3 in the left wing.
Maloney in the corner. Nashville just blitzing every ball screen, switching everything. It's working well. The communication is top tier for the Hornets. That one poked away right in front of us. Maloney's able to get it back to Bear, who finds Mingus. Mingus step back with Brinkman on her. Now goes baseline into the paint. Cora Hines fade away. Missed everything, and last touch by a Hornet. Stegman was on the line, so the Irish retained possession with 35 to go in our first quarter.
This is the correct man-to-man defense that Nashville should be playing. PND can get streaky from beyond the arc. They're blitzing the ball screens. They're allowing PND to not get clean looks on behind the arc, and they're forcing PND that if they're going to get points, go inside.
Wardle tried to inbound it. It was stolen away by Summer Brinkman, who crosses over beyond the three-point line, now finds her sister Sam. 26 seconds, I would think Coach Whitty would want to hold for the last shot, and yes, 20 seconds to go. Sam Brinkman all the way out by half court, content with slowing it down as they will try to take the lead heading into our second quarter.
I would expect some ball screens. Drives inside.
Beautiful move there by Bierman. Had to step on the defender. That's all she needed. She puts it up. That one headed over towards us. Out of bounds, last touch by the Irish as they were trying to push the pace and turn it over. So Nashville takes the 2-point lead with 2 seconds to go.
I thought the ball was going right for us.
It
was. Right for your head, Dalton.
Yeah, I was looking down at my notes. I would have been domed And throwing up a wild half quarter is Sam Brinkman. That won't go, but Nashville with a little bit of momentum and a 13-11 lead as we head to the second quarter. What a first quarter it was, and don't go anywhere. Tell your friends, tell your family to get on over to Clutch Sports Media. We have a crazy finish on our hands as we head to our second quarter. We'll step aside just for a moment on Clutch Sports Media.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Illinois, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Back on Clutch Sports Media, I'd like to thank today's sponsor. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Torque Fitness in East Peoria. To elevate your performance to an all-state level, train with Torque. To schedule an assessment or for more information, call 217-855-0508. Our second quarter about ready to begin. Both teams taking their sweet time in their huddles, kind of getting everybody slowed down. Everybody take a breath. It was a very fast-paced first quarter, and I want to touch on the Nashville defense, as you said there for a second there, Michael. Not many teams have the size and the speed and the athleticism to compete with PND, and more specifically, no team can really switch on every ball screen and have the quickness to shut down the drives to the hoop that PND loves to do, but Nashville does, and they are putting that on full display here in this first half.
Yeah, it's great man-to-man defense. I think what PND is trying to do with their offense is trying to get open three-point looks, and if Nashville is blitzing ball screens, they're getting PND to not get clean looks on beyond the arc. They're not going underneath the screens. That was the issue with Mount Carmel on Thursday. They went underneath ball screens. You can't do that against someone like Lexi Bear because they're going to get wide open three-point looks. They're not even going over the top of ball screens as much. They're blitzing the ball screens. So it's forcing PND to, be under duress and make a quick decision. Sometimes it's worked out in their favor. It's the reason why they have a 2-point lead.
Yeah, they've forced a couple PND turnovers. Just forcing the Irish to be uncomfortable is probably the best game plan that you could have when playing a team with the skill level of PND. The good first quarter for Nashville. They are up 2. Mingus will inbound the ball for the Irish.
Yeah, I'd look for Notre Dame to start the second quarter and try to get a good offensive play to either tie the game or take the lead.
Yeah, these first plays of each quarter, coming out of timeouts, coming out of the locker room at halftime, these first plays really set the stage. We saw it last night in a boys matchup between Metamora and Peoria. Peoria comes out and drills 3 threes in the start of the second half, end up winning that game. So momentum is a huge thing, especially in these state finals. Wardle at the top of the key. Nashville still switching on everything, playing very, very good defense. Wardle gets a screen. Gajewski switches on to her. And Wardle nowhere to go. Good defense from Gajewski. Wardle drives hard left, tried to dish it down low. Was it touched by a Hornet? No. So turnover, and Nashville retakes possession.
Well, Wardle's got the right idea. She's definitely the quicker offensive player, so she's going to drive to the basket. She does that, but she makes the wrong decision. She should have gone up with the layup, but instead she tries to make an extra pass and turns the ball over.
Could have probably at least drawn a foul there, but I don't mind the idea at all from Wardle. Reeder goes to the pick. Gajewski, a beautiful over-the-head pass to Bierman, who finishes at the rack. What a look from Gajewski. That was quite the pass. Eyes in the back of her head moment from the sophomore. Irish the other way, now trailing by 4. Corner 3 contested. Lexi Bear tried to bank it in, it won't go. Sam Brinkman, full head of steam the other way, dishes down low. Bierman back to Brinkman. The layup is no good, tapped around, grabbed by PND. They've got Mingus up ahead, instead they'll go to Bear. Now kicks to the corner to Mingus. That's where she hit her first one. Her second 3 is no good. Summer Brinkman pulls down the rebound. Didn't like what she had up ahead of her, so she slows it down and gives to her sister.
We already can see Notre Dame's trying to give those 3-point looks. They're trying to get on a transition and get those shots.
And tried entry pass into Summer Brinkman as she stepped on the line trying to corral that basketball, so a turnover. PND retains possession. And the turnovers kind of racking up in the early going for PND. That's 5 on them, just 2 on Nashville. So here we go. Driving into the paint is Wardle. Kicks to the top of the key, that's Mingus. Mingus surveying her options as Reeder switches on to her. And Lexi Bear, just no penetration here from the Irish at the start of these possessions. Lexi Bear, spin move, very physical play, doesn't get the friendly roll. And the rebound, here's Sam Brinkman on the right wing. Top of the key, Summer Brinkman directing traffic. Irish still playing that man-to-man. Now top of the key, Bierman. It's kind of a wheel offense being run here by Nashville. Lots of off-ball movement.
It's a lot of a motion offense, just trying to see if they can get some looks inside, and there we go.
Reeder tried to continue her first half performance, but the rebound is there for Claire Stegman, and off the bench, Stegman has 2 on the putback.
Yeah, great offense there from Nashville. They run their motion offense thinking that if they can get someone sleeping on Notre Dame, then they can take the ball inside, they will, and they just did that there. Nice offensive rebound for the easy 2.
5 minutes to go in the second quarter. PND has got to get that offense going. Lexi Bear. Now Mingus down into the corner. It's Cora Hine, or pardon me, that's Allie Stickelmeyer back into the game with 2 fouls. Mingus into the paint, spinning around, using that strength, missed the layup at the rim, but the rebound tracked down by Wardle. Irish reset. Sam Brinkman guarding Wardle.
Nashville is just, they're in your face. They refuse to get beat on man-to-man defense. And if they do get beat, the help side's there. It's just great man-to-man defense.
And aside from that last play, they've been phenomenal on the glass, which is a way that the Irish can hurt you. In the right wing now, this is Mingus, maybe looking into the post for Bear. Instead, a skip pass is last touched by Nashville.
Yeah, the Nashville contingent right behind us is not too happy with that.
Yeah,
and they had a pretty decent look at it.
I thought Stickelmeyer might have been the last one to graze that. But nonetheless, PND will retain possession, and Coach Langhoff will take a timeout. And Coach Whitty, still barking at the referees, wants them to kind of converge and see if they can get this one overturned. But I don't think it's going to happen. And I guess this is a good timeout here from Coach Langhoff, if we're being honest. This kind of slows your team down, stringing together some empty offensive possessions. Kind of what's the message right now in that huddle, you think, Mike?
Just run their offense. I think, obviously, Nashville, their defensive identity tonight is to run PND off the three-point line. Notre Dame wants to shoot the three-point ball. They're really good at that. It's the reason why they've been so successful. They can score on the inside. Obviously, they have players that can do that. But if I'm Coach Langhoff right now, I'm telling my players, they're taking one of our parts of our game that's been so successful. Let's run our offense, let's set screens, let's get pick and rolls to the basket, let's get some points.
Yeah, Coach Langhoff, as I said earlier, in his 8th season and a record of 168-70, he knows what he's doing. He's been in these spots before. He knows what in-game adjustments to make, and I would like him, if they can get a step, just one step on the Nashville defense, I'd like to see him get to the free throw line. They are 4 for 4 from the charity stripe in this first half. And
what I think is in PND's favor is that I think overall there's some players on Nashville that can match up with PND well in terms of quickness, but I think overall Notre Dame is quicker than Nashville. I think if Emmy Wardle can get a defender on her from Nashville, say like one of the break-in wings even, she can probably drive right to the basket and get some layups. And also off-ball movement for PND will be crucial. See if they can catch a Nashville defender sleeping and cut to the basket and get an easy 2.
And PND will inbound, and we've got an off-ball foul before the inbound on Bierman. Too much contact. I think she had a hold of Stickelmeyer. So the inbound doesn't do much, but the inbound will move from the sideline to the baseline. And checking back in for the Hornets is Claire Stiegman.
Yeah, Emmy Wardle's moved from right in front of us to the end on
That's right.
Illinois State baseline.
Kick to the corner on the inbound. Here's Lexi Bear. Got to get her going. 4 points, and the pass is tipped away last touched by PND. So another turnover. That's number 6 in this first half.
That's exactly what Nashville wants you to do. They've been doing it all game long. They want to put you under duress. They want to play aggressive man-to-man defense. They want to force you to be out of your comfort zone, and right now PND has not fully adjusted to that.
That's right, and because it makes me wonder what the halftime locker room message will be from Coach Langhoff. But Nashville, a chance to extend the lead to 8 or 9 if they can drill a 3, which they've only done, I believe, one time, and that was Brinkman. And here is Sam Brinkman with Mingus. I mean, Mingus is just an absolute nightmare for opposing players. She is all up in your grill no matter where you are. Just stands at 5'6", but she's feisty. And Reeder will drive hard left, throws up a wild shot that won't go. And Wardle pulls it down, kicks way up ahead to Baer, who controls it somehow. Now she's trapped in the corner, has to get it out. Throws a wild skip pass to Mingus, who will slow it down. And now give to Wardle right in front of us with Reeder guarding her tightly. And Wardle, top of the key. What does she want to do? Fakes the handoff to Baer. Now goes down low to Hines. Now kick to the corner for 3. Lexi Baer can't get that one to go. The rebound pulled down by Stegman.
Good relocation on the arc by Lexi Baer. She's not going to get a better look than that. She was left wide open, and draining that would have been big for Notre Dame, but just seeing her get that look is good for their offense.
And she can shoot the lights out. That's one that Coach Langhoff's going to want her taking 10 times out of 10. Stegman will hand to Summer Brinkman, who goes all the way to the lane, nearly got the and one, but did get hacked on the arm. So Summer Brinkman will head back to the charity stripe for a chance at points number 3 and 4.
That's a very textbook drive there by Summer Brinkman. Catch, sweep, and go, and she went to the left baseline, and she almost got the and one opportunity, but nonetheless, she shoots 2.
No need to waste any time on that one, partner, and the first one is up and good. So she's got 3 points, Summer Brinkman. The second one just as good as the first. She's got 4 to tie her sister. 4 apiece for the Brinkman twins, and 2 minutes and 35 seconds to go in our first half. Nashville 19, Notre Dame 11. PND's got to get some offensive momentum heading in the locker room. This would help, but it's no good. A long 3 was missed by Lexi Baer, and Gajewski will hand the ball off to Sam Brinkman. Driving hard right is Sam Brinkman, and spin around J is good. That was smooth from the sophomore, and just like that, Nashville's got a double-digit lead.
It's a good one-on-one take right there from Brinkman. She gets pretty much a turnaround jumper on the free throw line. It's a pretty nice look.
And that one's stripped away from PND, and it'll stay with the Irish. Lexi Baer lost the handle on it, but it was last touched by a blue jersey.
Reeder is shaken up.
Yeah, I believe so. She took a kind of a hard spill, maybe turned something awkwardly.
It's like Notre Dame has not had a field goal here to start the second quarter.
It's
been Nashville.
Indeed. Bell Schmalley, this junior, will check in for the first time in place of Reeder. And Maloney is back into the game for the Irish. Here's Wardle looking into the paint to Cora Hines, trying to use that size advantage. She threw it away. Nashville Hornets heading the other way. Summer Brinkman hands off to Schmalley, who kicks to Bierman, who slows it down, now gives it to Sam, who gives her sister Summer, with Mingus on her, has about 4 inches on her. And Schmalley will hand off back to Brinkman. An offensive foul. Schmalley, too much contact, trying to set a screen for Brinkman. And much to the dismay of the Hornet faithful, sitting and standing right behind us, but 1:21 to go, Nashville up 10.
The Hornet faithful, though, they're pretty much pleased with the second quarter. PND has not scored a basket, and Nashville is on an 8-0 run in the whole quarter. The reason why they have a 10-point lead.
Yeah, as a whole, you got to be ecstatic with this second quarter. It's been an 8-0 second quarter in favor of the Hornets. PND hasn't scored, and they've only got 1 minute and 10 seconds to do so. And that one won't help. It's thrown away. Sam Brinkman's got a full head of steam and a clear path to the rack. 23-11, a beautiful steal, and Coach Langhoff wants another timeout. All the momentum in the Hornets' direction, and we will take the timeout with them. 23-11 Hornets here on Clutch Sports Media.
High school sports don't just happen. There's a ton of work that goes into every single athletic event.
And we have our school's athletic director to thank for a lot of it. Thank you.
For scheduling officials, so I can always play the game I love.
For ordering quality athletic equipment, so I can stay safe on the field.
For mentoring my coaches, so they can be the best role models for me.
For coordinating transportation, so I can get focused for the big game.
For helping us develop character and learn lessons that will benefit us for the rest of our lives.
Thank you to our AD for always creating a positive experience for us. We'll never forget it.
From all of us at the NIAAA, thank you to...
Back here for the final minute of our second quarter. 23-11 Nashville, and PND's got to get something going offensively. Hines will try to do just that, and she does. The first bucket in over 8 minutes for PND will break the drought. 23-13 now. Hornets have 38 seconds before the end of the half, and I would assume they will slow it down and hold for the last shot.
We got a lot of time to do so. They got 30 seconds left to go here in the first half, and they can do it. But PND's going to be upping your grill, trying to get a defensive stop or even a turnover. Looks like they're going to guard Brinkman on the Redbird beak.
PND would love a turnover and a bucket here for some halftime momentum, but Nashville having none of that. Here's Summer Brinkman, guarded tightly by Wardle. Now hands off to her sister Sam. And Mingus all up in Sam Brinkman's grill. That one's stripped away. The ball's rolling around and the clock is going to hit 0. The last shot was no good and too late. That is the end of our first half, and what a half it was for the Nashville Hornets. If you're PND, I mean, quite a few adjustments you need to make in the halftime locker room. I think the most important one, though, Michael Savoy, is you got to stop turning the ball over. 4 turnovers in that second quarter and 8 on the game thus far.
Yeah, it's just a credit to Nashville's defense. They came ready to play. I'm not saying PND didn't come ready to play, but Nashville came with a purpose and a mission to make a statement to Notre Dame saying, hey, we're not losing to you twice in the biggest game of the year. We're going to come ready to play, and Notre Dame just needs to make adjustments off of that.
Absolutely, partner. And on the other side of the break, we will talk some numbers, talk some stats, and prepare you for the second half. 23-13, your halftime score here from CEFCU Arena in Normal. Be back on the other end of the break on Clutch Sports Media.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the IHSA, are the 333,000 high school sports and performing arts students in Illinois. And so, we stand. We stand for the runners, debate team members, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, officials, and adjudicators. We stand for the drummers, football players, and actors. We stand for the golfers, singers, and swimmers. We stand as the national leader and advocate for these essential activities and all who participate in them and make them possible, because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
High school sports don't just happen. There's a ton of work that goes into every single athletic event.
And we have our school's athletic director to thank for a lot of it. Thank you.
For scheduling officials, so I can always play the game I love.
For ordering quality athletic equipment, so I can stay safe on the field.
For mentoring my coaches, so they can be the best role models for me.
For coordinating transportation, so I can get focused for the big game.
For helping us develop character and learn lessons that will benefit us for the rest of our lives.
Thank you to our AD for always creating a positive experience for us. We'll never forget it.
From all of us at the NIAAA, thank you to every athletic administrator in Illinois for all you do to enrich the lives of your students. It does not go unnoticed. This message presented by the NIAAA, the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Back here on Clutch Sports Media, I'd like to take another second to thank our sponsor, Torque Fitness in East Peoria. To elevate your performance to an all-state level, train with Torque. To schedule an assessment or for more information, call 217-855-2222. 0508. Well, let's talk some numbers, Michael. First for Nashville, their leading scorer, I mean, can't say I'm surprised, is Sam Brinkman, and she averages 12 on the year, and she's got 8 in that first half, thanks to that late steal and layup on the other end. And talk a lot about their defense, but it's been a pretty balanced scoring attack offensively for the Hornets. What have you liked about what they've done with the ball in their hands?
Well, in the offensive end, they've done a really good job with their motion offense. They don't try to do anything too special. It's a traditional motion offense. It's ran by a lot of schools. In PND, I'm sure they know that. I'm sure they've ran against some of those offenses during their time in the Big 12 and just in the regular season. But they like to catch PND napping, and when they catch them napping, they're able to dribble drive past them, and they got a lot of their looks that come in the inside. So that's a good sign for Nashville.
That's right, and on the PND side, it's been a much slower offensive game for them. They've only got 13 points, and hey, when the games they win, they're scoring, upper 50s, upper 60s. They can really light it up on the scoring sheet. This run into a tough Nashville defense here today, and leading them is Julia Mingus with 5, and Cora Hines down low. I've liked some of the looks she's gotten. She's got 4 points. And Lexi Bear's got 4 points, but the thing that's sticking out like a sore thumb to me is that three-point percentage. They're shooting 16.7%. They're 1 for 6. Some of those have got to start falling if you're PND and you want to get back into this one.
Well, it's been tough sledding, and obviously, Dahlin, they know that. They know that PND wants to shoot the three-point ball, and they know Lexi Bear is one of the better shooters, not only in our coverage area, but the whole state. So her scouting report is definitely out there, and Nashville wants to run them up the three-point line. They have done just that. Obviously, that's why they had the 10-point lead. PND, although they can score on the inside, they have pieces that they can use to attack on the inside. They don't want to play that style of game as much as they want to shoot the three-point ball. So PND, if they want to have success in the second half, they're going to have to realize, hey, they're going to take us off the three-point line. If they want to respect us off the three-point line, you got to score on the inside. What does that mean? Ball screens and backdoor cuts.
And a couple times, I would say a couple PND players have been a little bit too selfless. A couple opportunities where they could have gone to the rack and put up a shot or drawn a foul because they are perfect from the free throw line. But I'm looking at Emmy Wardle to really get going downhill. She's such an athlete. As I said, she was the culprit that hit the game winner last year against these Hornets. They've done a good job shutting her down thus far. What a day for the Wardle family, by the way. Her father, Brian Wardle, in case you didn't know, is the head coach of Bradley University men's basketball, and they are playing in the Missouri Valley Conference semifinal. That game tips off in about 45 minutes, so very unfortunate that Brian can't be here, in Peoria to support his daughter and watch her hopefully win a state championship. But I think they're out there and they're going to be winning for each other here today. But yeah, I think Wardle's got to get going downhill. She's yet to score any buckets, and I like the drives. I like the driving kicks. Lexi Bear is over 4 from three-point range. That's gonna change. She's way too good of a shooter. But yeah, it's tons of options for Notre Dame. It's all about getting over the hump of that Nashville defense.
Yeah, it's going to change at some point for Notre Dame, but it's going to change when Notre Dame has, I guess you could say, the respect of Nashville. What I mean by that is Nashville wants Notre Dame to play a certain style of basketball. If Notre Dame can play what Nashville wants them to play and be successful at it, Nashville's like, okay, we're not going to blitz these ball screens because now you can score on the inside, so we're going to respect the inside game. And now we're going to allow you to shoot three-point balls, and that's when Notre Dame can be dangerous. You're talking about Lexi Bear, Emmy Wardle. They all can shoot the ball. Not Kaylin Cassidy. Julia Mingus can shoot the ball too. So they all can shoot. You just got to be able to score on the inside.
Absolutely, partner. Interesting second half is on tap right here on Clutch Sports Media. Got about 6 minutes or so before the start of our second half, so we will cut to another break just for a few and be back with the second half.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Illinois. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Back here on Clutch Sports Media for the end of halftime, as Lincoln Way Central was just awarded some kind of student section, student pride, student spirit award. I can't say I've ever seen this in Michael, but congratulations to Lincoln Way Central. They seem very excited. They get some kind of award for their school as they get the banner now here at halftime of the Class 2A state championship game. And I just want to give another shout out to our environment here. Of course, we expected PND to make the short 40, 45-minute trip over here to Normal to support their girls, and they've done just that, just decked out in blue, green, and white and black, supporting their squad. And we touched on it a little bit earlier, but Nashville, just a fantastic contingent of Hornets fans behind us, and much longer drive for them. But I mean, I've done this is my second year calling a state championship or state championship tournament, and I've been here multiple times to support my high school. But one of the better environments that I've been in all season long. One of the better environments that I've been in this arena more specifically.
Yeah, you think it's only going to get bigger from here, and that's saying something because it's already really, really, really packed here, especially in the lower bowl. Looking behind us, there's a lot of red and blue in terms of Nashville fans, and looking to our right and to the far side, a lot of Notre Dame black, and I'm sure their student section, I think it is a blackout, so they have something going for them there. And then, yeah, really the lower bowl, it's right now it's not as full because obviously people in concessions, break time, but when the game starts, it's going to be very full. And like you said, it's going to get really, really, really big, especially when the 3 and 4A schools come to town.
Right, and it warms my heart seeing these smaller schools bring such fans because, you and I know it better than anyone. That just means more, the sports at these small schools in Illinois. But, yeah, 3A and 4A matchups. In 3A, you've got Montini versus Ignatius. Ignatius, a dominant win over Washington Panthers in their semifinal matchup. And Montini, always a powerhouse. That is going to be a great game, and they are going to bring a slew of their fans, I'm sure. And then don't forget later on tonight, Class 4A, powerhouse versus powerhouse. Chicago Kenwood versus Palatine Fremd. And Fremd, a wild double overtime victory over Loyola Wilmette to get to the championship. And I believe Kenwood defeated O'Fallon, if I remember correctly. So that's going to be a good game as always. And encourage you to pay attention as our girls basketball season comes to a close. And on the boys' side, we've been just as spoiled as we have on the girls' side, Michael. We got three Peoria area teams will be playing for a super sectional. That's Peoria Christian, and in Class 1A, they'll be playing Greenfield Co-op. In Class 2A, Peoria Manual will be playing Williamsville. And then one step up in Class 3A, Peoria High will be playing Brother Rice. All of them have a chance to win their respective games and find themselves in the Final Four in Champaign here in a week. And as people like us who just root for everybody in the area, what a year for both boys and girls basketball it's been.
Yeah, it's always going to be a good year for girls and boys basketball in the area. You always feel it's going to be that way, and this year's no different. It's good for the girls to have Washington come to town, and they haven't been in the state finals since 1977. 1977 was the first year they had a girls basketball state series, so that was good for them to get back into CEFQ Arena to, play at the time for a state title trophy, but a third-place trophy is not too shabby either. And then obviously Notre Dame, they've been a wagon pretty much for the past couple years, and they've obviously earned the right to be here. And then on the boys' side, 3 area schools from Peoria proper could make it to the State Farm Center for the state finals, and all three have, good chances to do so. So it should be very fun. That Peoria High Metamora game from last night, Dalton, you were on the call for that.
That was what a game, partner.
Crazy. Not even just game, but atmosphere was electric. Metamora on one side of the gym. This was at Washington Story Gym. So if no one knows how that is laid out, it's pretty much one side is full bleachers from pretty much the roof or the ceiling up to the floor, and then the other side is the same way. So you can think about the layout. One side's Metamora, one side's Peoria High, and they were just going back and forth. Metamora student section filled out. Peoria High brought a good student section too. It was a great atmosphere, very loud, might I add. So it just added to a great game, and that game supplemented a really good atmosphere, a fantastic basketball game. Obviously, Peoria High wins over Metamora, but that game also, I wrote a story on CSM Overtime, a little bit of a shameless plug there.
Indeed.
But yeah, that story is on CSM Overtime if you want to read it. That game was fantastic.
Yeah,
and
plenty,
check it out.
plenty of stories and pictures and features and broadcasts from across the area on Clutch Sports Media Overtime. I highly encourage you, as girls basketball season wraps up and boys basketball season wraps up, we've got spring previews for baseball and softball for all area teams coming very soon. That is the place to be for all of the Central Illinois sports that you care about. And this is the place to be if you're a basketball fan. Just a couple minutes left for the end of our halftime as both teams getting their last couple warm-up shots in. Nashville 23, PND 13. And I do want to point out, Coach Whitty before the game said his squad had to focus on the weight room. Of course, like I said, they retain a ton of their players from last year's state runner-up team. They had to focus on the weight room, getting quicker, getting bigger, getting stronger. I think it's really paying off, especially defensively in that first half. And looking out there, I see a lot of familiar faces because I was here last year. They do look bigger and stronger.
Yeah, we talked about Nashville's athletic success, not just in girls basketball, but in football. So you got to think some of that stuff intertwines. Obviously, to be a really good football program, it's not just having the athletes and the coaching and all that stuff that's on the field, but obviously what you do in the off season with the weightlifting, and obviously that's got to be really good if you're going to be a good football team. So I don't know a whole lot about Nashville in their girls program or the girls basketball program with their football program, but you got to think their girls basketball program has taken some advice from the football program to say, hey, if I want to train my legs, this is how you should do it. And obviously, like you said, Dalton, I was here last year too. I called the state championship game last year between Notre Dame and Nashville. And this Nashville team, although they look the same, obviously you said they retain most of their team. They do like that bigger, stronger, and faster, like you said.
All that work in the weight room is paying dividends. Who would have thought? And to the tune of a 10-point lead at halftime over PND, who's only got 13 points, but one of the best offenses in the state. And this second half is really going to be determined by, I think, the first couple of minutes of this third quarter, would you say, Michael? Because if PND comes out and, drills a three and then gets a stop and then gets another bucket, then they've got the momentum and they'll claw their way right back into this one like they always do. But if Nashville can come out and keep imposing their will and extend this lead, it could get out of hand.
It's all about halftime adjustments. You got to think that Coach Langhoff understands that their team didn't have success against their man-to-man defense in the first half, and you got to think that he's made those adjustments to start the second half. And on the flip side, if you're Nashville, you can't just lay down and say, hey, this man-to-man defense is working, we can just keep doing it. Obviously, keep doing it because it's working, but understand that PND made adjustments, and you should make adjustments if need be.
Absolutely, partner. Under 30 to go on our halftime clock. Just love to be a fly on the wall in either of these locker rooms at halftime. I'm sure the message to Nashville, keep it up, do more of the same, and the message to PND, probably let's switch some things up. Let's think back to everything we've worked on in practice. Your season is on the line, and your career is on the line if you're PND, especially if you're a senior. Julia Mingus, Allie Stickelmeyer, Emmy Ward, Caitlin Cassidy. They will not go out quietly.
Yeah, they were in a similar situation on Thursday when they played Mount Carmel. That game wasn't tied. They were up by 2 at halftime, and obviously, they had the lead, but it didn't feel like it was a solid first half by any means.
Right.
And they started picking it up at the beginning of the second half. So let's see what they do here in the start of this second half.
Second half underway, a full court press, and it's immediately broken by the Hornets. Smooth finish with the left hand from Reeder. And Reeder has 5 points. PND the other way. That press did not work. It was broken immediately by the Hornets. So up 12 now is Nashville. Mingus on the other end looks into the post. That's Cora Hines. She's had a couple buckets down low on the post. Lexi Bear in the corner. Got to get her shot going, and she is trapped, and we have a travel. She chopped her feet before she put up the shot. So turnover number 9 for the Irish on the game.
Nashville's keeping that same man-to-man defense, and Notre Dame's not able to get a three-point shot off. Lexi Bear is trying to shoot the ball, but she realizes that, hey, I need to drive inside. I need to get the respect.
That's exactly what the Irish need. A turnover on the inbound. Kick to the corner. Mingus for 3. Just short, and clearing the board. Flying in there was Michaela Gajewski, and I'll tell you what, Gajewski has had herself a good game. No points, but she doesn't need to light it up from the scoring sheet. She's playing tough interior defense on Lexi Bear and Cora Hines and grabbing a couple rebounds as well. She's got 2 rebounds on the night. Sam Brinkman, top of the key, thought about a 3, now tries to give it to her teammate. That ball rolls over to us. She tried to give it to Reeder. Slight miscommunication and a turnover on back-to-back possessions for Nashville. That ball was maybe a foot or so to the right. I would have leaned over and got it, but it hits the front of the table that we were sitting at.
Now, would you shot the 3/4 full shot?
I'm going to go with no. I don't think I would not embarrass myself if I attempted to do that. A step back 3 from Bear off the right iron. Hines fighting for the rebound. She won't get it. Gajewski gets it and hands to Reeder. 6.5 to go in the third quarter.
Not really a great shot there from Bear. I'd like them to just at least try to attack the inside more and try to get it easy, too.
Yeah, she's had plenty of good looks from 3. I don't think that was one of them, though. Gajewski will hand to Bierman. She had a somewhat underrated first half, did Bierman. Here is Brinkman out to Reeder, who is wide open for 3. Off the front iron, no good. Bierman gets the rebound, puts it back up. No good, tapped around, and Sam Brinkman goes in there, grabs the ball, and we have a foul on PND. It was relentless on the offensive glass on that possession were the Hornets.
Yeah, what an effort by Bierman getting into the inside. She was not boxed out, so her jumping over the back of a Notre Dame player is not a foul. And she went up against 3 Notre Dame defenders on the inside and got the board, and Nashville keeps possession.
Sam Brinkman tries to give to Gajewski. Ball batted around for a little bit, and we have a travel on Brinkman, who got it back and tried to stand up. Can't do that. That is a travel. So 6 minutes to go now in our third quarter. PND yet to score in this second half. Got to change that.
Yeah, you got to think that something's going to click up this Notre Dame team. It's been some games Notre Dame's played, it's been like this, and something's clicked. Right now, you got to wait for it.
Wardle tries to go in, but she is stuffed by Summer Brinkman. Kicks out to the right wing. A beautiful backdoor cut by Mingus, who goes to the free throw line. Cora Hines, that's money, and beautiful ball movement from the Lady Irish for their first 2 points of the second half.
Backdoor cuts are going to be a big thing against this aggressive Nashville defense.
And Wardle, speaking of being aggressive, was too aggressive on that one and commits the foul as she was picking up one of the Brinkman sisters.
Yeah, this
Full
PND
court
team,
pressure.
if this PND team's going to have success in the offensive end and gain the respect of the Nashville team in the inside, they're going to have to do some dribble drives, backdoor cuts. Obviously, that one was a backdoor cut to a dribble drive to a nice, easy 2-footer. So that's what you got to do if you're Notre Dame.
Summer will inbound to her sister Sam, and Sam being guarded tightly by Mingus. Now here's Summer with Wardle on her. Gets a screen, elects not to use it, kicks to the corner, Sam. Now top of the key, Reeder. Reeder had a very nice first half, to the tune of 5 points. Now a lob pass inside, that is beautiful. Summer Brinkman finishes with the left hand, and it's 27-15 Hornets with 5 to go in our third quarter. Mingus on the other end, up and under, gets the friendly roll. Julia Mingus has 7 to draw the Irish back within 10.
Yeah, PND's just trying to respond to anything Nashville does in the transition. They don't want Nashville to set up their aggressive defense, so a lot of it's going to come in the transition game for Notre Dame.
Summer Brinkman on the right wing, not in any hurry. Now gives to Reeder, way out by the Redbird. And inside, a beautiful cut there by Bierman. Faked the shot and got Bear to bite. And Bear jumped all over Bearman. And a foul on the Irish.
Yeah, that was a great job there from Nashville. They've been running the same offense pretty much all day long. It's been a motion offense, and when they catch an Irish defender sleeping, that's when they try to either cut to the basket or do dribble drives.
Third foul for Notre Dame. Nashville yet to pick up a foul in this third quarter. And a step back. Brinkman thought about a J, but instead gives to Bearman, who slashes her way to the rack and puts it up for 2. Bearman's got 6. That's too easy. Chance are raining down from the Nashville side. Here's Mingus, tried to go up again, threw up a wild shot. She traveled before she got it up and wanted a foul.
I think the PND players on the bench had wanted a foul. They were making foul gestures that the official would have made if it was a foul, but it's a turnover, and back goes the Nashville Hornets.
Full court pressure again. Mingus is all up in the grill of Reeder, who gives to Summer Brinkman. Still got to break half court. Now they do. Wardle on Summer Brinkman. And here's Sam. Will drive hard now, kick to the corner. Summer Brinkman's got it again on the right wing. Looks like Bierman flashing to the free throw line, curls around and heads to the rack. I like her off-ball movement. 33, she's got 8 points, Bierman. Back now, top of the key, Reeder. Good defense, good defensive possession here from the Irish. Exactly what you wanted for Coach Langhoff.
But Nashville's not in any hurry. They obviously have the lead, so this is Nashville. Nashville's fine with this. Nashville, if they wanted to, if they really wanted to, they can't hold the ball for the rest of this, but they're going to look to score.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to extend your lead. PND can get on you in a flash, that's for sure. Reeder, nice smooth behind the back dribble. Now gives to Sam Brinkman, stop and pop, and it's good. Not only did they run about a minute off the clock, they cash in for 2. 31-17 in Nashville. The Hornets are threatening to run away with it.
Well, Nashville's not in a hurry like their counterparts are. Notre Dame, when Nashville scores, they're kind of in a trance almost, because now now they're down by 14.
Indeed they are, and timeout called by PND. It'll be our media timeout. So 31-17 your score with 3 minutes to go in our third quarter. It's all Hornets here in this second half. Be back in just a moment on Clutch Sports Media.
High school sports don't just happen. There's a ton of work that goes into every single athletic event.
And we have our school's athletic director to thank for a lot of it. Thank you.
For scheduling officials, so I can always play the game I love.
For ordering quality athletic equipment, so I can stay safe on the field.
For mentoring my coaches, so they can be the best role models for me.
For coordinating transportation, so I can get focused for the big game.
For helping us develop character and learn lessons that will benefit us for the rest of our lives.
Thank you to our AD for always creating a positive experience for us. We'll never forget it.
From all of us at the NIAAA, thank you to every athletic administrator in Illinois for all you do to enrich the lives of your students. It does not go unnoticed. This message presented by the NIAAA, the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
3 minutes to go in our third quarter. 31-17. The Hornets lead it. Need to keep your foot on the gas if you're Coach Dempsey Whitty. Don't want to let PND creep their way back into this one. And Whitty, I mean, he's no stranger to winning. As we touched on the top of the broadcast, a 65-7 record in just 2 seasons leading this Hornets program. So he knows what it's like to coach when he's up big. And not that 14 points is an insurmountable lead. It's most definitely not. And this is a state championship. We know anything can happen.
Well, I feel like the message in his huddle was probably, hey, like, this is the state championship, but like let's not be content here. Let's try to build this lead and play more aggressive defense.
And the inbound is stolen away by Summer Brinkman. That's the second time she's done that this game. And number 15, Claire Stegman, is back into the game for the Hornets. Handling the ball at the top of the key is Bierman. Another thing I like about the Hornets offense, anybody is comfortable stepping out beyond the arc and handling the ball. Everyone's done it at one point or another in this game. It's a nice weapon to have.
Yeah, it's a nice weapon to have. When you're up, too, it's a nice weapon to have, because now you're not worried about, hey, like, if one person gets the ball in Nashville, you're not going to worry about turning the ball over as much.
Driving to the rim and having the ball stripped from behind her was Brinkman, and she pushed over Cora Hines, but it'll stay with the Hornets.
I almost felt like I gave it an announcer's jinx. I said not turn over much, and she almost did.
Nearly did.
Nashville keeps possession.
They do, and the inbound will be a wild lob pass to Gajewski, who pulls it down like a wide receiver. Summer Brinkman will give to Bierman. And there is Stegman. And Brinkman here, she is again. Gajewski comes to the top of the key to get it. There's tons and tons of ball movement for the Hornets. Sam Brinkman gives her sister Summer.
Notre Dame's playing really good defense.
Yeah, they are.
Keeping the players in front of them.
And slicing her way through the defense and drawing a foul with Summer Brinkman.
Might have been too good of defense.
Yeah, I believe so. They got a little bit impatient. And a blocking foul, Julia Mingus, the guilty party.
We're going to get a timeout, I believe.
Yes, indeed we are. And
full one for Nashville.
while we got a second, we might as well take a moment to thank our sponsor once again. That is Torque Fitness in East Peoria. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Torque Fitness in East Peoria. To elevate your performance to an all-state level, train with Torque. To schedule an assessment or for more information, call 217-855-0508. I'd like to thank Torque and all of our sponsors across all of our basketball season. You know, so many boys and girls games that we've done. It's been an honor to have the sponsors here supporting us and taking care of us. We thank all of them making it possible.
We love Torque here at Clutch.
We absolutely do.
We appreciate their work, and we like to say Torque, so Torque.
Yeah, Torque is one of my favorite words. It's a great name for a company as well.
Yeah. Great work they've done over there, of course, with their own business, and great work they've done with us. We really do appreciate them.
Absolutely.
All season long.
All our sponsors for making this possible. Both teams break huddles. We got a minute and 52 to go in our third. 31-17 is your score. PND just 4 points in this third quarter, being outscored at 8-4 by the Nashville Hornets in this third quarter after being outscored 10-2 in the second.
Notre Dame's double teaming on the top.
Full head of steam for Bierman, who dishes down to the low block. Avery Reeder's got 7 points.
I was going to say, Notre Dame's double teaming on the top right by the half-court line, and that's pretty much what happens when you double team. You're going to have someone wide open.
Lob inside Cora Hines. This is where PND is going to have to live. Throws up a wild hook shot that's just short. In the rebound, Summer Brinkman looks up ahead to Sam Brinkman. Now to the corner, Bierman inside Gajewski. She's yet to get on the scoring sheet. Back to Bierman. A pullback J is good. Bierman into double digits. And the Nashville faithful can feel it. A minute to go in the third quarter. 35-17. Quick foul on the other end. And PND to the line to shoot two.
Hopefully these free throws for Notre Dame can, put them back into this ball game, because they've had tough sledding on the offensive end.
Yes, they have.
It's really a credit to Nashville's defense. It's really not Notre Dame as much as it's Nashville. I mean, Nashville has dictated the game on the defensive end.
In the first half, they were 0 for 6 from beyond the arc, and as a whole, they're 1 for 8 from beyond the arcs is PND. So in the first half, you could kind of blame it more on them missing shots combined with the Nashville good defense. In this second half, it's been strictly good Nashville defense. 1 of 2 from the line go the Irish. And Reeder, top of the key, who tried to go back door to Brinkman, who pops out and receives it and hits a J. Summer Brinkman now has 9. And PND very quickly on the other end. A quick jumper is good. So 37-20, 40 seconds. Nashville not wasting any time. Reeder gets to the rack, and we have a foul on PND, a push, as Reeder was trying to go with that strong left hand as she did on the first play of the game. She drew that and one. I like the aggressiveness. I don't know if you need to do that right now if you're Nashville, but I'm not going to complain. It's entertaining.
I don't think Nashville really has to, be content with anything. I think they really want to build up this lead. They know that even though they're up by 17 with almost the third quarter to go, there's only 38 seconds left.
And after that last bucket by Summer Brinkman, is Nashville 6 of 6 on their last 6 shots from the field. They are getting hot at the right time to pull away from these Irish. They are up 17 with 38 seconds to go in our third quarter.
Yeah, you got to like what you've seen so far. If you're the Nashville Hornets on both sides, especially the defensive end, they've really stifled Notre Dame.
Avery Reeder missed both from the free throw line, but the second one wouldn't have counted anyway. We have a lane violation. So PND with 38 seconds in our third quarter needs to score and do it fast. Time to start limiting the empty possessions for the Irish.
And that could be an issue for Notre Dame. You do not want to be hurt against an aggressive defense. It can cause problems.
You can get ahead of yourself and start turning the ball over even more. Mingus puts up a wild shot, but she got fouled on the body as she was putting up the shot, and Reeder, the guilty party, asking for an explanation. So Mingus to the line. She will shoot two with 24 seconds to go now.
Yeah, Mingus making these free throws would be huge for the Irish.
First one touches every part of the rim and eventually falls down. Julie Mingus had herself a nice little game. 8 points to lead the Irish. She did drill a three.
What's not going to work for them, though, is Lexi Bear. She's 0 for 5 from 3, and that's a credit, once again, the Nationals defense. They've really dictated the game.
Yeah, uncharacteristic of the Irish to shoot this poorly from beyond the arc, that's for sure. Summer Brinkman will bring the ball up and presumably hold it for the last possession for the Hornets. They are up 37-22. Clock down to 12. A corner three is just short from Sam Brinkman. She tried to chase down her own rebound, couldn't do it. Clock down to 5. Irish heading the other way. Mingus full head of steam. Got to get a shot up. Will launch a long three that missed everything. Pulled down by a Hornet. That's Reeder. And time expires in our third quarter. My goodness. Kind of a weird end to that third quarter, but while we do have a second here, I'd like to thank our sponsor once again, Torque Fitness in East Peoria. To elevate your performance to an all-state level, train with Torque. And to schedule an assessment or just for more information, call 217-855-0508. And now it's crunch time, well, for both teams, but especially if you're PND. Your season is on the line. As I said, got a handful of seniors. Their career is on the line. It's time to go. You can't have any empty possessions. You're down 15. Crazier things have happened, but it's looking pretty bleak right now for the Irish.
Nashville has them exactly where they want them, where the third quarter was really the determining factor of what could happen for the rest of the ball game, because if Notre Dame, say, if they came back and either took the lead or made it really close at the very least, the Nashville, that aggressive defense, it can be aggressive, but it doesn't necessarily have the same effect. Now Notre Dame's down by 15 entering the final quarter of play. Notre Dame has to be aggressive. They have to drive the inside. They have to get shots off. The only way you can score points is if you shoot the ball. They have to shoot the ball. No offensive possession has to go dead. They have to shoot the ball, and that's what Nashville wants them to do. They want them to take awkward shots. They want them to make that risky pass, because that's how their aggressive defense works.
Indeed, and PND's only got, they got 5 offensive rebounds. It's not terrible, but I think if you gotta start shooting, you gotta start shooting quick. I would like to see everyone in a white jersey kind of crash the offensive rebound and see they've got the size, they've got the length. See if they can haul in a couple extra possessions, because you're gonna need all the possessions you can get to come back in this game.
1 from 9 from downtown for Notre Dame. It was just one Julia Mingus 3, and Lexi Bear 0 for 5 from 3. That's not something that PND fans are accustomed to seeing, and I keep saying it, it's just that Nashville defense. It's been limiting the PND attempts from beyond the arc, and if they do shoot the ball from beyond the arc, PND, it's usually a bad shot. They've gotten a couple good looks. Lexi Bear had a couple good looks from the corners, but she hasn't been able to have them fall. So for Notre Dame, it's obviously Nashville defense is not going to change. They've had success with it. Obviously, the three-point shots you're going to take, most of them are going to be bad looks. So get the ball inside and see if you can get shots from inside the arc.
Both crowds rising to their feet. The energy in here is unbelievable. Nashville's just 8 minutes away from the state title. PND trying to cheer their girls on to what would be a remarkable comeback, and that is not a good start for PND. They throw it away. That's going to be last touched by one of the Irish players. So a quick turnover to start our fourth quarter.
Yeah, and Irish obviously down by so much in the final game of the year. Why not throw a full court man-to-man press?
And nearly a full court pass up ahead to Sam Brinkman, who couldn't finish with the right hand. Gajewski flies in for the offensive rebound. And standing on the line was...
Yeah, that was out of bounds on PND. It's hard to hear.
Yeah, it's hard to hear. It's hard to see. Lots of bodies were in our way there, but it's going to be Nashville's ball under their own basket. And Summer Brinkman, top of the key, will hand to Bierman, and she is hit hard by Lexi Bear, but no whistle. Summer Brinkman again, in no hurry. 7.5 to go in the ball game. Nashville by 15. Here's Bierman. Summer Brinkman again. Emmy Wardle on her.
No need to hurry if you're the Hornets.
Emmy Wardle, after hitting that game winner in last year's state title, just 3 points from her. Nice spin move from Reeder. She is swatted at the rim by Cora Hines, who didn't even have to jump. Irish the other way, not wasting any time. Lexi Bear gets a screen, drives hard left, now kicks to the corner. The ball's tipped, grabbed by Wardle. Now out for three. It is just short from Allie Stickelmeyer. She's also been quiet. No points from her, number 12.
1 for 10 from beyond the arc is the Irish, and that was a decent look. It wasn't a great look. It was a decent look. One that could have fallen, but obviously didn't.
For sure. Now pass down low on the block. The layup by Gajewski is no good, and possession will stay with the Hornets.
Yeah, PND, they look deflated almost on the defensive end.
They've got to be tired. You know, every single time Nashville either scores or they miss, and the Irish get the rebound, they're full head of steam. Dead sprint the other way. Here's Mingus tipping the inbound pass, but it's going to be retained by the Hornets. And now cutting to the rack is Reeder. Nice dish down low to Bierman. Lost it, gets it back, puts it up, can't get a friendly roll. And we have a foul on the offense. Bierman on the push-off.
Yeah, it's not a good foul there for Nashville, but it's a foul you can honestly live with such a big lead. And you're in Notre Dame. They're like, it's not the adrenaline anymore. Obviously, they haven't had much success in this ball game. Not really much adrenaline, so you're just playing off of your pure stamina. And these Notre Dame players have been playing all game long. They just look very tired right now.
Absolutely, partner. Nearly miscommunication, and Cora Hines able to keep it. Now with Gajewski on her in the paint, will kick to the wing, and Emmy Wardle.
Can't have offensive possessions like this. You got to drive and score.
Wardle trying to do just that. She tried to kick to Cora Hines on the opposite block. It's batted around, and we have a jump ball, and possession arrow favors the Hornets.
Yeah, it's not a good offensive possession, especially in this point in the game. You have to be able to at least get a shot off. If anything, obviously make the shots, but you got to get a shot off.
Now full head is Steve for Brinkman the other way. Beautiful bounce pass on the fast break. Down low to Bierman, and what a game from number 33 in blue, the junior, that's Emma Bierman. She's got 12, miss on the other end for the Irish.
That was a step-back three from Lexi Bear that did not catch anything. It was an air ball, and that's the type of shot, once again, that Nashville wants you to take. But that's a shot that PND has to take at some points of this game.
Samantha Brinkman brings it down and gives to Avery Reeder, who's had a nice complimentary role in this one. Samantha Brinkman lost it, but she is fouled by Mingus going after the loose ball. And 5:26 to go. Nashville 39, PND 22. And timeout, PND. They will try to talk things over and get anything they can, any type of momentum.
You know, for what the score is, and Notre Dame hasn't had much success in this game, a 17-point deficit isn't the worst thing in the world for them. We still have over 5 minutes left to go in this ball game, 5:26 to be exact. If Notre Dame can hit shots in the offensive end and get Nashville defenders off of them, not be so aggressive off of them, who knows? This is a ball game. I mean, Notre Dame's going to try their hardest to make this ball game. They have no other games for this season after this one. This is the game for them, so this game's not over.
Yeah, PND's got to get just 5:26 to go in our fourth quarter, but got to get some threes to fall, maybe an and one. Another turnover or two would definitely help the cause, but luck of the Irish might have finally run out here at Sefke Arena. We will find out in 5.5 minutes. And one more time, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Torque Fitness in East Peoria. To elevate your performance to an all-state level, train with Torque. To schedule an assessment or for more information, call 217-855-0508. We are ready to finish off our ball game. 5:26, as I said, remaining in the game. Nashville controls possession. And inbound to Sam Bierman. She will drive right and give to Gajewski. Skip pass to Summer Brinkman. PND fans really trying to get into it. They are up on their feet, clapping, stomping, yelling.
This is the traditional four corners offense where they're just wasting time.
No reason not to. We have a foul.
We saw this last night for the Clutch Sports Media crew at the Washington Sectional Championship game with Peoria and Metamora. Peoria, with a sizable lead, had played a four corners defense or four corners offense and was wasting time. This is what Nashville's doing.
We have another timeout. I'm not going to lie, I missed who called that one, but a timeout on the floor. It must have been Nashville. They had the ball. The ball was never loose. It never got turned over, so it must have been Nashville. Coach Whitty seeing something that he didn't like.
I think it was Notre Dame. I saw that they had 3 timeouts left. Now they have 2, so it was the Irish.
Yeah, I'm not.
The dead ball.
Coach Langhoff, rather, not enjoying something he's seeing. Yeah, just a 30-second timeout. Wants to talk to his team, and I think now he's realizing that Nashville's going to start holding on to the ball and killing, a minute plus off the clock every possession. So he's probably, I would assume, drawing up some type of trap play or some type of play where they switch and come off their man to try to pick off a cross-court pass. Something of that nature, I would assume, is what's being talked about in the huddle right now, because the Irish need the ball back ASAP.
If Nashville's playing a 4 corners offense like they were doing, the best way to get a 4 corners offense is trapping the corners. Obviously, you don't want to be trapped at a half-court line in the sideline. That's the worst place to get trapped. And obviously, when you get trapped as an offensive guy, you panic and you try to make that extra pass, because obviously, if you're double team, someone's open. Make that extra pass. Notre Dame jumps the pass lane and gets a steal.
And on this inbound, they are playing tough defense. Mingus nearly intercepted it, but it's in the backcourt, controlled by Samantha Brinkman. Up ahead to Bierman, finds Gajewski down low for a wide open layup. Gajewski's on the board with her first 2. But man, Nashville has broken the press at an elite level.
Yeah, they've just been so smart on the offensive end.
And here's Cora Hines near the free throw line. Will toss it out top to Emmy Wardle, who drives hard left. Tried to go down low to Hines, but the lengthy arms of Summer Brinkman are there to steal it away. And the Hornets get it cross half court.
They are trapping in the 4 corners.
Yeah, they are, and they're blitzing everything. But Nashville, I think, is content with that, the way their ball movement's been. Now 4.5 to go in the ball game. Irish have to get the ball back.
Risky
pass. Yeah, very risky pass. Was tapped around, eventually grabbed by Gajewski.
Yeah, they're looking for just a trap to see if they get a steal.
And now back to Samantha Brinkman. Now Bierman comes and gets it at the Redbird at half court, and the Nashville fans behind us are loving this ball movement without turning the ball over. Toss inside, out of the corner. Reeder will eventually find Samantha Brinkman now at the Redbird again. They are not.
This looks like it's too easy for them.
It does,
almost.
yeah. They're toying with them. Now inside, Bierman will go to the rack and draw a foul. So all of that culminates in Sam Bierman. Pardon me, Emma Bierman getting to the line.
It just looks so easy so far for Nashville. It looks so easy because of their effort in the first half and in the third quarter on their defense. They built such a big lead. Now it's a 19-point lead. We get a full timeout.
What a game from Emma Bierman. Her 33 in blue. She's got 12 points and 4 rebounds and 2 assists. She has, been a key part of the Nashville program's success over the last couple of years, and she'll be coming back next year. She's just a junior. Look at the roster. I mean, they're all coming back if you're Nashville. So you cap this one off with a state title. You're 3 minutes and 47 seconds away from it. You're bringing back everybody. I don't see a single senior on my roster. Yeah, Avery Reeder. There you go. Avery Reeder, the only senior that'll be leaving. But man, that is a solid core returning for Coach Woody's squad next year. I'd be terrified if I was the rest of 2A.
And what a story it's been for Reeder, the fact that she had played on the Nashville Hornets team last year that had lost in the state championship game against Peoria Notre Dame. And now if the score holds with 3:47 left to go, she can have her Nashville Hornets pull out the state championship this year. It's second place in the state last year, junior year, and first place in the state her senior year. That's a great story for her. And obviously this Nashville Hornets team is only going to get better next year.
Yeah, something that Avery Reeder will never forget. If the Hornets can just cap this off and keep doing what they're doing, the ball movement around the perimeter, you don't really need to go to the rack at all. But Emma Bierman's not having any of that. A couple times now, she's just taken the ball after killing off the clock for a while and gone straight to the hoop. I'm definitely not complaining.
Yeah, she's had a great game, and
indeed,
it's not even just her. It's pretty much everyone on this Hornets team has had a great game.
It's been a balanced attack.
It's really, like, the thing with the Hornets and the reason why they've been so successful, I feel like, is because there's not one player on this team that can, there's not one player averaging 23 points a game, for example. They're playing really well as a team, and that's a credit to not only the chemistry of the team, but obviously the coaching staff.
Absolutely. I mean, the Brinkman twins and Emma Bierman have done a bulk of the scoring throughout the year, but I mean, Avery Reeder's got 7 points. Gajewski just got her first bucket, but she's done tons of stuff off the ball, rebounds and steals, assists, and whatnot, as Bierman made her first free throw, and the second one off the back iron, and it eventually falls through. 3:45 to go in the ball game. PND's got to start scoring fast. They trail by 21. That shot no good.
That was a clean look from Emmy Wardle. She had done a sick crossover and had her defender stumbling a little bit. Had a clean look, but she's not able to have a go.
Just 3 points for her, and she's probably the best look she's had all day. Very, very fantastic defense from the Hornets on her. And Bierman to the rack again, dishes to the opposite block. Gajewski, a beautiful right-hand finish from Gajewski. She's got her 4th point, and Nashville really starting to run away with it.
It's just been that kind of game. When you think Coach Langhoff calls a timeout, you think, okay, he's going to try out something to get some momentum PND's way, but every time he's called a timeout, it feels like Nashville gets stronger and stronger, and they deserve this so much. I mean, this is a program that has had success. This is a school that has success, but last year losing the state championship game, and now well on their way to clinching a state title. Whatever
Coach Whitty is saying in those timeouts, between quarters, the media timeouts that we have here at the state championships. Nice spin move and finish from Lexi Bear. Her 6th point of the game. That was nice and smooth. But as I was saying, whatever Coach Whitty is saying in these timeouts, it's working, because they come out of the timeouts and they have more energy. They're playing smoother every single time throughout the course of this game, and that's a big reason why they are about to win their 2nd state title and 1st since 2013.
It's just been a great season for Nashville. It's been a great run for both PND and Nashville. Obviously, both played in the state title game in 2A last year. PND getting the better of Nashville by 2 points off an Emmy Wardle floater. I don't believe it's going to get to that point with 2:33 left to go, and they're down by 21, PND is. So
nope.
It won't be that way, but it's been 2 great teams battling it out. Nashville gets the better of them this time around.
And Summer Brinkman tried to go back out to the Redbird to her sister. It was deflected, taken away by Mingus. Full head of steam. Nice layup from Julia Mingus. She's had, like I said, solid game. What a career Mingus has had. I know she's got some college looks. Hornets on the other end. Bierman puts it up and is blocked by Lexi Bear.
Yeah, if Bierman would just put that shot up when she first received the pass, she would have gotten a clean shot off and gave Lexi Bear a split second to adjust herself for the block. And Nashville does call a full timeout.
You might as well. You can't take it with you. You can't take it on the bus back to Nashville alongside that state trophy. So Coach Whitty will just give his squad one more breather. What a game. What a performance. What a season for Nashville. And lots more to talk about. We'll get into the post game. And just one more time, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Torque Fitness in East Peoria. To elevate your performance to an all-state level, train with Torque. To schedule an assessment or for more information, call 217-855-0508.
Yeah, this is probably one of those timeouts that, like you said, Dalton, they don't obviously take him with them. Obviously,
might as well use it. Might as well savor the moment here at SFQ Arena. I mean, as we touched on, I wouldn't be surprised if they're right back here next year, but they'll have to wait an entire year if they do get back here. Might as well savor it. Take every moment you can. They have earned it. They've earned every single second of this victory, have the Nashville Hornets. As 2 minutes left on the clock. Summer Brinkman inbounds and gets it right back from her sister. Nice crossover on Lexi Bear. Brinkman kicks to the corner. Bierman.
And Bierman wisely passes it out.
Yeah.
Nashville is just going to be content holding on to the basketball and forcing a foul game.
And PND will start fouling. Down 45-26. I'm a little bit surprised that they're going to send Nashville to the line, and Nashville's been lights out from the line to that point. And 8 out of 10. Avery Reeder will shoot.
If there was a positive for Notre Dame, they are 7 of 8 from the stripe. So Obviously, it doesn't amount to a whole lot looking back into the final score of this ball game. They're down by 19 still, but something that, you think, a championship team would be really good from the free throw line, and they've been so.
If they were 7 of 8 from beyond the arc, it's probably a completely different game, but alas, they're 1 from 12 from three-point land. I would assume that's where they'll finish up. 1:47 to go. Lexi Bear goes right to the rim, missed the layup. And Reeder trying to break the press. This risky pass taken by Summer Brinkman, who now kicks to the corner to Sam. Cross-court, Gajewski. Gajewski says, I want 2 more. She might get 3 more. And 1, Gajewski.
Oh my goodness, Gajewski. You don't have to score there for Gajewski. You can if you want to, obviously, but she does, and she looks to score it, and she gets the and 1.
I don't hate it at all. She's got 6 now. I believe all of them have come in this fourth quarter. She'll get 7 if she can convert the free throw after drawing the and 1.
Yeah, but stop
and
it.
I believe they're trying to figure out who that foul was on. If it's on Allie Stickelmeyer, then she has fouled out. Referees converge trying to figure this out, and it is not on Stickelmeyer. It'll go on Cora Hines. So good for Stickelmeyer staying in the game. I know even though this one's out of reach, you don't want to foul out in your last game. She is a senior. The free throw up and no good, but the rebound by the Hornets bounced right to Summer Brinkman, and she is now hacked by Lexi Bear.
Bear's got 4.
Yes, she does, and if they're going to keep fouling, then the foul trouble is really going to rack up here in this fourth quarter, but wouldn't be surprised with only 90 seconds to go in the ball game if Coach Langhoff wants to call off the Dogs.
I don't know if they'll call off the Dogs. There's 2 sides to it, I feel like. One, this game's so out of reach, why not? But the other one's, this is the final game of your season. Why not just try to go out with a bang?
Right, I mean.
But I could see both sides of it if you're Coach Langhoff.
Second free throw, no good. And then, is that another offensive rebound? It is. 2 straight offensive rebounds on missed free throws. And Avery Reeder controls it out by half court. Now Bierman down low. Brinkman draws a foul.
They had pretty much the same exact play with Gajewski just running down the baseline, and she could have easily gotten another 2, but settling for her own foul is Summer Brinkman, and she'll shoot 2.
And she will look for points 10 and 11, which would put her ahead of her sister. She ties her sister right there with that free throw. Both the Brinkman twins with 10. And I have had a whale of a time trying to tell them apart, but it cancels out because it's just so much fun watching them play basketball. I got to say, Michael, and you're a triplet yourself, so you know about this, but they're the most identical pair of twins I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
You're right about me being a triplet, but I don't know if you think I'm identical. There cannot be 3 Michael Savoys.
No.
I am not an identical triplet. Thank God. I can just tell how hard it is to tell those apart, but nonetheless, they're identical. In their facial structures, they're identical, everything, including how they play basketball. They're the same exact player.
It's almost surreal. They're the same height, the same build, the same everything. And I've seen plenty of pairs of identical twins in my life, but if they didn't have a number on their jersey, I would have absolutely no idea which one is which.
I mean, Wardle was subbed out. Their season is over, her sophomore campaign.
Shay Larson will check in for the first time for PND, sophomore. That probably have a bigger role next year with the squad. Stickelmeyer, the senior, remains in. Cora Hines remains in. Lexi Bear remains in. But a nice gesture there from Coach Langhoff to get the seniors off and give them one more round of applause.
I just can't believe how lopsided this game has been. It's credit to Nashville.
Yeah, scoreboard doesn't tell the whole story, but yeah, absolutely, partner.
It's been that kind of game for Nashville, and it's been that kind of game for Peoria Notre Dame, where Nashville came to play with their defense, and Notre Dame just wasn't able to score. Just like that, another block.
A beautiful block by Samantha Brinkman on the other end.
And now Nashville, they had a pretty sizable lead all throughout this ball game. They started off strong, and now they have an opportunity to double Peoria Notre Dame's score and possibly end the game that way.
Maloney will check back in after this free throw for the Irish.
I believe they're going to get the seniors. They are going to get the seniors.
Yeah, again, yeah, like I said, nice gesture, giving them just a second.
Yeah, Sticklemeyer and Mingus have subbed out in their final varsity basketball games for Peoria Notre Dame. What a career it has been for them. And also, Nashville has made their own substitution.
Their one senior, Avery Reeder, checks out to a huge standing ovation. What a moment for her, getting hugs from the entire coaching staff. As Samantha Brinkman drains her second free throw, and Reeder, emotions running high for her, as I'm sure, but man, nothing to be sad about. She's going out as state champ. 58 seconds to go, being hacked is Summer Brinkman. Back to the line go the Hornets, and all these free throws are, as you said, partner, really making the score look a lot uglier than the game itself.
There's been a pretty sizable lead by Nashville all throughout. It's been pretty much like a 10 to 12 point lead all throughout, but these free throws, like you said, Dolan, are making it even bigger. Just a great game by Nashville. The Hornets deserve this. They worked all season for this, I'm sure, and they deserve it.
And some confusion at the substitution table. They're bringing in the bench are the Hornets. Yeah, I think 4 girls waiting to check in. They're not sure if they can check in now or if they have to wait.
I think they tried to go onto the court before they were allowed to, and I saw this on Thursday, and yesterday at the Peoria game. Nothing was called, but gotta wait for the free throw to be shot. There we go. Whole new nest of Hornets coming into the ballgame.
Indeed, well said, partner. And good moment for them. I mean, there's only 56 seconds remaining in our game, but good moment for them to kind of pat on the back for the starters and the bench players get to get in and play a minute at Sefke Arena on the biggest stage that girls high school basketball in Illinois has to offer. Big standing ovation for Summer Brinkman. She checks out for the last time this season.
What a 2-year run it has been for the Brinkman twins. Freshmen last year, state runner-ups. Sophomores this year, now going to be state championship. Going to win the state championship.
And the PND fans, to their credit, up on their feet, clapping, still cheering on their Lady Irish. They've got a great contingent of fans, as we expected from them. That's for a private school. They've got quite the fan base, and the 3 is going to go for Maloney. Nice moment for Maloney, drilling a 3 from way beyond the arc. 30 seconds to go. Nashville on the other end will pass the ball around, see if one of these bench players wants to get in and put a bucket in. We'll see.
Why not? You're on the college floor. Why not try to get some buckets?
But why not? I honestly don't hate it.
But they might just be content with burning out the clock and just celebrating, knowing that they just won the state championship.
The clock down to 10, and yeah, they're just going to hold it. Coach Langhoff has called off the Dogs. Down to 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and revenge for the Nashville Hornets. They are back on top of the girls' high school basketball world in Illinois. State champs for the second time.
What a season it's been for Nashville. What a game it was for the Hornets. Falling to Peoria Notre Dame last year, 46-48 off an Emmy World floater. It didn't come down to the last shot. It came down to the entire game for Nashville. Great defense. They stifled Notre Dame. They took the Irish out of their game, and they earned the state championship.
Partner, you talk about coming in here on the biggest stage this level has to offer and doing exactly what you came here to do. You are out there imposing your will. Everything that they prepared for, the game plan was executed to perfection, and that is equally on Coach Dempsey Whitty. What a second year for him winning state. It's equally on him and the players. The game plan was perfect. The execution even more perfect.
Well, you bring up last year with the offseason this year with the weightlifting. The players were brought in not only when the season started, but way before the season started. It was a whole year effort for this Hornets team, and they, like I said, they deserve this. This is a hard-working Hornets team, and they fall last year, get runner-ups, and this year they reap the benefits of hard work and dedication, and they are the top of the crop of 2A teams here in state.
Well put, partner, and as the medals come out, we will send you to one last break here on Clutch Sports Media. We'll be back to talk some numbers and wrap things up as the Nashville Hornets are Class 2A state champions.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Illinois. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Back here on Clutch Sports Media to wrap things up. Your final score is 55-29. The Nashville Hornets defeat the Peoria Notre Dame Irish for their second state title and first since 2013. What a year, what a ride. And let's talk PND. I mean, yeah, this is not the way you want to go out. Felt like that they were the better team here coming into this one. They've been better than almost everybody they've played throughout the course of the season. Not how you wanted it to end, especially with the score that ugly. But, I mean, what a ride for these seniors, and really not much to hang your head about if you're the Irish.
Yeah, it's a great year. It's been a great 2-year run as well for Peoria Notre Dame. Like, we keep saying it, but these two teams played each other last year in the state championship games, so both teams have had state final appearances for the past 2 years, and both teams have won a state championship. Both teams have 500 against each other, so it's been a great run for both of these teams. Nothing to hang your heads on if you're Notre Dame. You're going to lose a couple of really big pieces for them. Allie Sticklemeyer, Julia Mingus, Kaylin Cassidy's also leaving. She had suffered an ACL injury and was able to suit up, but was not able to play in tonight's game. So it's a bittersweet ending for her senior season, but she has a lot to be proud of. So does everyone on this Irish team, and nothing to be hanging your heads on the state runner-up finish.
Right. I think they will be back. I just said they lose Sticklemeyer, they lose Mingus, but still returning a really solid core, of Emmy Wardle, Lexi Bear, Cora Hines. Aiden Maloney had herself not a bad game at all here tonight. Plenty of players can come back and make a difference. And Julia Mingus led their scoring with 11. Lexi Bear and Cora Hines both had 6 respectively. Emmy Wardle with 3, and Aiden Maloney hit that 3 off the bench. Just overall, the offense never really got going for the Irish tonight, and I think that's more of a credit, as we've been saying all broadcasts along, to Nashville's defense.
Yeah, really aggressive man-to-man defense. They were forcing PND off the three-point line. They knew that players like Lexi Bear, Julia Mingus, all those pieces, like Allie Sticklemeyer, can't even shoot the ball well. So all these pieces for Notre Dame can't shoot the ball well. They took them out of their game. They forced them, if they wanted to score, to go into the inside. Notre Dame wasn't able to score on the inside, and they just couldn't get anything going.
Absolutely, and real quick, let's talk numbers for Nashville. It was very balanced attack in all facets of the game. Samantha Brinkman, 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. Avery Reeder had 8 points. That's well over her season average. She had 2 rebounds and 2 assists. Summer Brinkman, 13 points. 9 of 10 from the free throw line, Summer Brinkman, albeit a lot of those came at the end of the game. 7 rebounds and 3 assists for Summer. Gajewski, 6 points, all in the fourth quarter, 5 rebounds and 2 assists. Emma Bierman led the way with 14 points, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds and 3 assists. I think it was just the Hornets' night tonight here, Michael. I don't think anybody across the entire class was going to beat this Nashville squad. They would not be denied. They earned it.
Yeah, they deserved it. We keep saying it. This team falls short last year. They runner-ups last year. They're hungry for a revenge this year. They get that revenge, and they're state champions. And that'll do it for our prep coverage of girls basketball for this year. So
yeah,
a great year in general, as it always is pretty much in the Clutch Sports Media coverage area. And obviously it didn't come out in our favor with Notre Dame winning, but it's a great season by Nashville. So
for sure,
gotta be proud of the Hornets, and gotta be proud of the Irish.
Very fun nonetheless. Even though PND did not come out with the win, you were equally as happy for Nashville. As I said, they earned it. And I'd like to thank you for following along girls basketball all season long. It's been a season to remember, that's for sure. And boys basketball super sectionals will be coming at you on Monday, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe to Clutch Sports Media Overtime for all of the coverage that your heart desires on Central Illinois sports. But that'll wrap things up from Sefcu Arena. Your final score once again, Nashville 55, Peoria Notre Dame 29. The Hornets are Class 2A state championships champions. For our entire crew, my partner in the booth, Michael Savoy, Jonathan Michael doing some Twitter and overtime coverage, and Gabriel Holoka running our social media here today. I'm Dalton Carbine saying so long from Normal.